This man led the government team for the peace negotiations in Juba with the LRA, a rebel group in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Ndugu Ruhakana Rugunda. I would like to ask you the first question. Talk about your childhood. Like, I mean, as a child in your home, what can you say that has led to you being the way you are?
Well, I was born in Kabale.
Yes.
Kabale municipality, actually.
Yes.
And grew like all of us children. And I would say reasonable in my village. Reasonable in the sense that if I made a mistake, I was disciplined.
Yes.
I worked hard. I went to cultivate the soils, quite a bit of distance from home, and learned a lot of skills from my parents, from my community, and grew as part of the community. Started school and went to high school, Busoga College Mwiri, Makerere University, and it was truncated. I had to leave Makerere for completion because of the clashes we had with Amin, and completed my medical degree at the University of Zambia. Time at the University of California for Berkeley for my master's degree in public health, and also some time at Washington, D.C. General Hospital for a residency in pediatrics.
They say that when you're young, you used to read papers for your father. Is that true?
That's absolutely correct. My father was...
So he trained you?
There is no doubt about that.
Yes.
My father was an elderly man who was not exposed to the English language, yes, but who wanted to know what was happening in the world, happening in Uganda, and in the region. And that material time, there was turmoil in Congo.
Yes.
And he was a great supporter. He would,
all the way from Kabale.
Yes, that's true. He would buy many newspapers. Actually, there was only one newspaper at that time that one could, that reached in English. That was Ugandagas. And Ugandagas tried to interpret and him. I must say that my English was not all that good,
yes,
but I could pick the gist of the story and share it with him. And I believe that that interaction with my father rubbed on me greatly, influenced me.
So if they asked you in one word to speak about the late Surumani Rugunda, what can you say?
Great man.
Great man.
And indeed a great mentor.
Great mentor to you.
Yeah, that's correct.
And all of you.
Yes.
What are some of your human values that others can learn from you?
Well, really, I value humanity. I value a peaceful environment. I value justice. And I value transparent management of society. And those, in many ways, guide me in the way I handle public affairs and private affairs for that matter.
Speak as a father.
Yes.
What has parenting? How was that?
I can merely share my limited experience.
Yes.
That has been a very pleasurable thing to be a parent.
Wow.
And I must say my wife, yes, has played the dominant role in parenting our children. I've come in once in a while from time to time, but she has done the dominant role and I've played some bit of it. But it has been a great pleasure to see children grow, see them become full members of the family.
But can you say that you're friends to your own children?
They are more or less my colleagues. And in fact, we sometimes refer to each other as Ndugu Ndugu.
As brother.
Yes,
brother.
They are more or less brothers.
Where did Ndugu come from? Everybody calls
Well,
Ndugu.
you know, I think it's just a coincidence because we have been addressing each other as comrades, as brothers, people involved in the common struggles. And we translated this to the English, to the Swahili version, which was commonly used in Tanzania. And we more or less adopted it to refer to each other. So a number of us refer to each other as Ndugu, and I'm one of those who refer to some of my comrades as Ndugus.
You're very diplomatic, you know. Marriages today, you know, are struggling.
Yes.
And we know you've been married for a long time, been able, successfully blessed with a family.
That's true.
What can you speak about some of the married values that other people can uphold?
Well, I think really each couple or each family has its own constitution, if I may put it that way. You know, each family finds its own level of how it manages its own affairs. Suffice it to say that my wife and I intimately interact. We communicate a lot, we share a lot, and we are transparent in the way we handle things. If there is an issue that requires attention, we address it. So if you want open management of domestic issues, in my view, galvanizes the family and increases cohesion in the family and strengthens the relationship in the family, between the spouses, but also within the children.
You were formerly a member of UPC and a close friend of the late President Milton Obote, and at one time he referred to you as a brilliant man, and you've been really in the leadership of this country for the last, as I know, 25, 26 years. As the youth of this country, as the young generation of this country, we ought to look at the past in order to see the future. What can you say to the young people of this country, the future leaders of Uganda?
Well, really, first of all, it's true that I and Milton Obote and the youth of Uganda, especially the student movement, worked very closely with Obote and the government of the day, especially in discussing issues of national significance. And we as young people very much appreciated that and valued that. And people like Ndugu Tumusime Mutebire, Ndugu Raro Tunu, and many others are products of that dynamic relationship that we used to have as young people. I encourage the young people of Uganda to break their narrow parochial cocoons of tribe, of religion, of any other small domain. They belong to what they belong. I'm a Muchiga, there is no doubt about it.
Yes.
A very proud one too.
Yes.
But my pride as a Muchiga must not in any way compromise my patriotism and commitment as a very, very strong Ugandan. And I think it is really a question of combining them in a manner that they do not conflict with each other. Actually, if handled well, they are mutually reinforcing and they are not antagonistic.
You're actually a medical doctor by profession. What sparked up your politics and how did giving up one feel for the other?
First of all, the question of giving up medicine is out of question. I've not given up on medicine.
Okay.
On the contrary, I believe that in every profession, people should be political. Every Ugandan, every human being is really political.
Yes.
So whatever profession line you take, you should always bear in mind your rights as an individual and your commitments as a Ugandan, as a human being. Therefore, our professions should not stop us from enjoying and carrying out our obligations as nationals, as members of human race. On the contrary, our profession should reinforce our commitment to our country, to Africa, and to the advancement of humanity.
Speaking about Africa, how optimistic are you about Africa?
Oh, I'm a great optimist about Africa.
And Uganda?
There is no doubt about the fact that Uganda has made progress. It is even going to make more progress. And there is no doubt that Africa is really the continent of the future. Europe has had its turn.
Yes.
America has had its turn. China and Asia are having theirs. The future belongs to Africa.
The future is ours.
Absolutely. Let's just work for it.
That's very encouraging. What has life taught you? What do you know for sure today?
Well, I think the exposure one has had has given him some knowledge, but we must also know that what we know is a minute fraction of the knowledge around us. Therefore, what we know should be merely a means of knowing even more. Therefore, let's learn more,
Yes.
let's read more, let's get more exposed. We'll be better people, and people will be in a better position to contribute to our families, to our country, to our continent, and to humanity.
Now, speaking about the youth voices I hear, you have been a part of the past
Yes.
of this country, and in terms of really specifically leadership, you have not shared that much with the young people. And I think that's why our priorities, I don't know whether our priorities are making you proud, you know, how are you going to guide the young people in terms of mental capacities on how to actually sustain what you have built, the foundation that you have built for Uganda?
I think the young people, we should share knowledge with them. And we should avoid suffocating them and keeping them on a rigid line that they must take. There are people who want their own freedom.
Yes.
So let's expose as much as possible to them, especially positive things that help build families, build countries, promote Africa, promote humanity, and they will emerge as strong, useful people that will make Uganda, Africa, and the world a better place
And
to live in.
add on to the foundation that
They will consolidate the foundation and expand it.
What do you do in your leisure time?
Well, I do some reading. It's true, once in a while I play some tennis.
Yes.
I also like farming, and
Wow.
yes, that is true.
So cattle and everything?
Yes, yes. That cattle,
Gardening?
fish.
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
that is true.
So you play chess as well?
I do. I like playing chess.
What about chess?
Chess is a good game.
It's a mind game.
Yeah, very much so. I would want to play more of it, but sometimes time is a constraint. But it is always a pleasure to have a game of chess.
Lastly, what has been one of your favorite moments in your life?
Well, the moments when the people of Africa rid of dictatorships, when the people of South Africa got rid of apartheid,
Yes.
when Uganda threw out bad leadership. Those have been great moments for me because they have given people of Uganda, the people of Africa, an opportunity to express themselves, to build better lives for themselves, to build a better environment, build better countries for themselves. So I value freedom, and the days that we have achieved freedom are great days to me.
3 things that you can speak about Ndugu Rugunda.
Yes.
3 things that you can speak about Ndugu Rugunda.
Well, you mean things that you want?
Characteristic traits about you.
Well, I don't think I should be the one to talk about 3 things about myself. I think it should be you to answer that
Well,
question.
I think you're very graceful.
So I should ask you?
Yes, I think you're
What
very,
are the 3 things
well,
you can speak about
very
Rugunda?
diplomatic, graceful, and positive.
Well, I will not violently reject what you have said.
Thank you. And your relationship with the current president of the Republic of Uganda, President Museveni, what have you learned from him, working with him for all these so many years?
I think President Museveni is a good leader, he's a good listener, and is somebody who has made significant sacrifice to see a free Uganda, to see a liberated Uganda, and see Uganda make significant social and economic advancement that we have made.
It will be a date if I don't speak about how are Uganda's interests fully part of the United Nations, and specifically the United Nations Security Council.
The United Nations has got now 193 members, and they take major decisions that affect humanity in many different ways.
Yes.
And Uganda is a very effective member of the 193 UN membership. But for 2 years, 2009 and 2010, Uganda was elected to be on the Security Council.
And you were the permanent representative.
Yes,
for
and I had the opportunity to be one of the members of the Security Council representing Uganda. There are 15 countries. And during that period, Uganda pushed very hard the case for Africa, the resolution of conflicts in Africa, and rapid social and economic advancement of Africa, because really to prevent conflicts, you improve the well-being and lives of people. And then people will be more concerned about their stability, about what they have, instead of spending all the time in conflicts. And of course, the issue of good governance and democracy. These have been issues of concern at the United Nations Security Council. But let me also highlight that Somalia,
Yes.
and the peaceful resolution of the conflict in Somalia took a center stage, and the role of Uganda and Burundi in the pacification of Somalia was saluted by the international community and the UN in particular. The independence of South Sudan has been on the agenda, and we are glad that a peaceful resolution of the Sudanese problem has emerged, and we have now an independent South Sudan. We have also, as Uganda, played an important role in helping resolve some of the conflicts in the other African countries. So, if you want, Uganda played a positive role not only at the UN, but also at the Security Council.
Yes.
And although I have left as we have a very good team representing Uganda at the United Nations. And I must say, the team I had in New York, working with me at the United Nations representing Uganda, was an excellent team, and therefore produced good results. We had full cooperation from government here, of President Museveni and Minister of Foreign Affairs and his ministry and the whole government. So when you work together as a team, you achieve monumental success. And to some extent, Uganda achieved monumental success.
Congratulations and thank you.
Congratulations too, because this was Uganda's success.
I know, yes. You've been a representative of Kabale municipality.
Yes.
Speak about Kabale, your homeland.
Oh yes, Kabale is a sweet place. And it has not progressed economically as much as we would want it to progress.
Yes.
But we do hope that with a stable environment now, DRC Congo, and now a stable Rwanda in the neighborhood, and a stable Uganda, but also going to flourish from that stable national and regional environment. The people in Kabale definitely work very hard. They are very industrious, and I'm sure they are going to take advantage of this good environment for them to be able to produce and improve their quality of life by earning more in their pockets.
Unification. Speak about it. As a futuristic big asset for Africa, do you see?
Well, perhaps I should look at the past, because we have our forefathers who championed the cause for African unity. And Kwame Nkrumah stands out clearly.
Your father's favorite.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Stands out very clearly. Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Nyerere Julius, Gam Abdul Nasser, Modibo Keita. Those have played very, very critical roles, and now Nelson Mandela. Now, the efforts they made
yes.
must be embraced, and we must push them, advance them a step further, and consummate meaningful and sustainable African unity.
Because you spoke about working together as a team to achieve something big. So I looked at Africa working together to achieve something big.
You are right, Farida. Africa working together becomes a formidable force, and that's why we have been able to turn tables in Somalia against the El Shabaab and the pirates.
Yes.
And now the people of Somalia, with the support of Africa, are gradually taking charge. That's why we have been able to achieve a lot in Southern Sudan, because IGAD and African Union was able to be strong and cohesive, and therefore the United Nations had no choice but to support Africa.
Yes.
Therefore, when Africa works together, when it is united, when it is focused, it will let the international community rally around it. Therefore, let's focus on getting a more coherent, a more united Africa.
Your last word to the children, to the people of Uganda.
The people of Uganda and the people of Africa, the future is bright, but we must work for this brightness.
Yes.
Our forefathers and the parents have made a significant contribution to reach where we are. It is you, the young people, to take the mantle and advance forward so that Africa really becomes the continent of tomorrow.
You know, when you speak about young people, you, the young people, to take up the mantle, do you see us having the correct work ethics to be as active as you people, to be committed to your work?
Well, I have full confidence in people. They will go in different ways, but through that they will be able to emerge. They sometimes need to, in order to acquire knowledge and to know this works, this doesn't work.
Yes.
The young people will build a better future for themselves.
That's true.
That's why I have faith in them, and that's why I have faith in a better Africa to come.
Thank you so much,
my daughter.
Thank
Mama Abana, HAJAT NAMBI FARIDAH, Uganda is proud of you.